afternoon, everyone. Okay, let's take a deep breath. And
do that.
I don't think I can.
No problem. Yoga teacher Katie Monroe has no problem with it. She's striking a pose for us today. She's here to tell us about a new class really targeted at tweens, which is sort of that forgotten age when a lot of anxiety sets in.
Yep.
And it's a good way to help them get healthy.
Yeah, when you think about those things in the new year that we're almost into the second month of, we also need to take a look at what they're eating. So Courtney Kronk with Nourish Portland joins us on the couch, and I'm looking in this basket, Courtney, and I'm thinking this is a don't basket?
Oh, yes.
Oops.
What not to have
What
in the
not
house?
to eat, yeah.
But I see a lot that I have, like the Gatorade. How can this affect a child's behavior?
Well, first off, if it's neon, you probably shouldn't eat it. That's just a rule.
A color not found in nature.
No, it's not natural.
Probably not wear it either.
But food dyes
I tried that one year.
are really problematic. And of course, sugar, we know that. And some of the food additives that we don't even really think about being in food.
Food dyes, you're saying, can affect a child's behavior.
Yeah.
In what way? We think of sugar as revving them up, but is it the same impact?
Yeah, it can rev them up. It can cause them to be violent. It can cause them to be obstinate, defiant.
It's a chemical.
It's a
right?
chemical,
That's what we're
amped
putting in
up. They can wet their bed when they didn't used to wet their bed. Crying spells, emotional issues, all sorts of things, just from food dye.
Any specific type of dye or color? I've heard.
Well, the worst
red.
red number 40 and yellow number 5 are supposed to be the worst.
Okay, something else to read on your label. All right, let me just say how worried I am to see these in here, protein bars. We must have 10 different kinds in our pantry.
Yeah, it's an easy go-to snack. But
Right.
if you hand that to me for a second.
Okay.
On the label, if you read, I circled here, look how many different kinds of syrups there are. I think there are 5 different kinds of syrups,
And
which
apparently
is basically
that's a bad
sugar.
thing.
Yeah.
Syrups in,
Oh, sure.
in a bar. And this is,
Dried
this is a
cone
gluten-free. It looks great because it has a little
does.
kid on a bike, healthy. But they're
Right.
just not great for you.
Organic oats. Yeah.
Well, let's go through a couple other things in the basket, Courtney. Lunchables, obviously, probably a popular quick grab some parents
Yeah.
might use.
For those days when you just didn't get the lunch pack.
Yeah.
I was going to say my son likes it because it has the candy in it.
Oh.
the
And it has the
Reese's.
Capri Sun.
and a Capri Sun.
And it has the processed meat, cheese, and cracker. It's just non-food. I call them frankenfoods. They're not really real food.
You mentioned Capri Sun, and now we're looking at some lunchroom video here. And when our kids are eating meals away from us, such as school, how do we know what they're taking in there?
Well, we don't. And one thing, speaking of schools, is a big problem. Our teachers, bless them, but they're giving our kids Skittles for sitting quietly on their mat, or for raising their hand when they ask a question, or for positive reinforcement. And we didn't do that when I was in school. And I just think we're sending the wrong message.
This is not the time to admit that I potty trained with M&Ms.
Yes.
And it worked like a charm.
I used a big teddy bear.
There's some right here for you, Jesse. It's
There you go.
the basket. The
Okay,
M&Ms.
wait,
Where'd
I
you
saw
go?
fruit in here. I saw fruit. What's wrong with the fruit?
Well, so this is gel peaches and strawberry gel. I didn't know that was a thing.
Okay.
But
The gel.
again, it has 22 grams of sugar in one of these.
Wow.
In one little thing?
Yeah, and 22 grams of sugar is probably more than a kid should
I
have
have to look at the M&Ms
in a,
now.
in a day.
31 grams.
31
In that little
grams.
tiny
Yeah.
bag.
And so if they're eating one of these and one of those and a yogurt and a chocolate milk,
And yogurt's in there too.
yeah, yogurt has red dye number 40. That has yellow and some other dye in
And
it.
7 grams of sugar just in the drink.
Yeah, let's talk about what kids are drinking. You mentioned the Capri Sun. We're looking here at some soda. Is there anything out there that is good?
Water.
Water.
Gosh,
Really?
Courtney, you're no fun.
I know. I'm such a downer, right?
No, but great information.
So what do we give them instead?
Well, I just prepared this little lunch this morning as I
Look
was
how cute
preparing
that
to
is.
come on the show.
Oh my gosh.
And it has real food. It has some cheese. It has some carrots. These are some almonds, some celery. I had some roast beef on hand, and then I just added some olives and little tomatoes and some chocolate, dark chocolate. It's fine. Kids love it. They're not being, not given a treat, but it's healthy. It's real food. It's something you could identify as real food.
a
by looking
single
at it.
square of the dark chocolate.
Single square of dark chocolate.
Well, dark chocolate is more satisfying because it's more intense, right?
Yeah.
I think
You
so.
don't need a
I
whole
mean,
bar of it.
No.
Well, I mean, I could eat it.
I mean, that's not
Crushed a
crazy.
few bars myself. You know, interesting in that, you know, I think most of us just grab this because it's simple.
It's convenient.
And that, putting that together was probably not very
It wasn't
much
that
time
hard.
either.
No, that doesn't look that hard.
It's not, you know, the olives came out of a jar, the tomatoes came out of a package, the meat came out of a little bag from the deli. It's not
My
that hard, and
child
kids
would
could
insist
prepare
on a
it.
few crackers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, I didn't have any. I would have put crackers with the
Okay,
cheese. I didn't
all
have
right,
any.
Is
at
there a
home.
safe cracker?
Well, I think it depends on what your kids like. In my house, we can't have gluten, so that limits us a little bit. But rice crackers or Mary's Gone Crackers is a brand that we like that has seeds and stuff in it.
And Courtney,
so whatever.
back to the dyes.
Yeah.
Are there any foods you have found that surprised you that the dyes were in? I mean, other than the obvious, you know, sodas, candies, really processed.
It actually surprised me that it was in yogurt.
Oh,
I wasn't thinking about that. I thought the fruit would give it the color.
Okay.
But
So
it's-
not all yogurt, if you stick with
I
the
didn't
plain
look at
Greek
all
yogurt.
the. Yeah, plain Greek yogurt's not going to have any.
And does
dye
it
in
say
I
it?
don't
It'll
think.
say. dye
Yeah,
number
it
5
says.
on
Yeah,
it.
this one says.
So it's a matter of reading the labels.
Yeah, you have to read labels. This is 26 grams of sugar,
Oh,
but it has red number 40, blue number 1,
Okay.
So
Something to
just
look out for at the
start
and it
reading
can
those
and it can
labels.
really cause these behavioral issues in kids, and you might not be able to understand why they're acting up. And there's no test. You can't get a blood test that says, "Oh, my kid's allergic to food dye."
Okay.
It's basically you just have to observe their behavior, and if you notice that something's making them bounce off the walls, remove that food for a while, and then give it to them again. Like remove all food dyes for a while, and then give them a day of heavy food dyes, and watch them and see if they have that bad behavior.
your
Don't
little
always
test.
assume that it's because they're 2 or a teenager.
Correct.
They're being
Yeah, a
stubborn
lot
or
of these
obstinate. Yeah.
behaviors come from our food.
Courtney
Yeah, for
Kronk
sure.
with Nourish Portland. Thanks so much
Thanks
for
for
coming.
having me.
Always good
Appreciate it.
information.
It's good to
We
know.
have another parenting